Hey everyone, it's Miranda here from the Swirly Do's Education Design team, and I just wanted to play around tonight and kind of capture the process. I have all of my scraps left over from the October Technique Kit, which is the Prima Mixed Media album. I've got quite a few sheets of the tea time paper and a couple of flowers and just some scraps and stuff, so I just kind of wanted to play around. What I am using is a 6x6 canvas. I got this at Walmart. I know everybody has access to canvases, and if you don't, I have also done stuff like this on a 6x6 piece of chipboard and just layering on there. So I wanted to go ahead and share a couple of the things that I'm going to do because they take a while to dry. So I can go ahead and show you that, and while that's drying I can prep all the other stuff. So I took my canvas and I gessoed the entire thing, and then I also went in with, it's like a palette knife. It came from Home Depot, and it's got all these extra little teeth on the top of it, so it's really great for doing texture. So after the original gesso dried, I just went back in with that, and hopefully you can see all of the texture that I created, just kind of scraping that across there and just creating some raised areas. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to do another really fun technique with your gloss gel medium that comes in your kit. I've just been playing like crazy with this, and we're going to do two really cool techniques with this on this video. The first one, you're just going to need a paintbrush or the popsicle stick that comes in your kit, whichever one you want to use. I'm just going to grab a paintbrush really quick, and you're just going to need to pick out a stamp from your stash, any stamp that you want to use. I chose this like flourish type one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all the sides of the canvas. I've done two already. I don't know if that will show up, but hopefully y'all can see that. And I'm going to teach you how I did that. And that's not the best part. Like, it's super iridescent and pretty right now, but when we add mist to that, it's going to be super amazing. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your brush or popsicle stick, and I go in half, so I just start slathering it on in a really thick coat on the side of my canvas. A really good amount, kind of even but not perfectly even either. Just like that. And then set it down and take the stamp that you chose to use and just place it right on top of that. Push really hard and be careful not to move it, because it will slide on that gel medium and it won't keep the nice impression that you want. So hopefully that will show and y'all can see what I'm talking about. So you're just going to repeat that below it. Just put the gloss gel medium on the other half. I think a script stamp would look really pretty here too. So just put a good thick amount. You want it really thick because you want a deep impression of this, of your stamp. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, and then just press it down and wipe off your stamp. And then you're going to repeat the same process on all four sides. I've got two done. I'll do the other one in a minute. Just let it dry on its own. Don't heat set it or anything. And then I also, from my stash, I pulled out a frame. You can use a chipboard frame, if you have a die that will cut a frame, anything you want to do. I just wanted to play with my primary elements and see what all I could achieve. And I made a glaze with this the other day, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. In this bowl I already had it. And I could not figure out why, when I did this glaze and put it on things, the pigment didn't come through as much, only the mica did. So I don't know if you can see in the bottom of that bowl, but like over here would be the pigment, which is the green color. And then down here you see all that maroon mica. And then I think I finally figured out why. It's because I'm putting such a high concentration of the powder in here and not a lot of water, so it's making a super shimmery little concoction in here. I'm not going to put as much because I'm pretty much done using this glaze, but I wanted to show y'all how. So actually put more than that in yours. Put like 3 scoops of your primary elements in a little bowl, and you're going to need some gum arabic as a binding agent on this. If you don't have gum arabic, you can use hairspray. I don't know how well that will work out as far as using a glaze, so I would actually recommend getting the gum arabic if you're wanting to do this step. And then just put equal parts of the gum arabic in there. That just binds it so that all of your mica powder stays put. It's not going anywhere. And then you're only going to put like the tiniest amount of water, like 1 squirt, 2. These aren't full squirts, that's why I'm adding more. It's like barely coming out of my bottle. That would have been like 2 squirts. And you're just going to stir it up really good. And it's super, super shimmery. And because you're not adding a ton of water, it's not getting diluted, and that mica powder is just so overpowering. So what I did the other day is I just dripped it down my page, and when it dried on its own, no heat setting, it was like maroon. It didn't come out the green color that I expected. So I've been playing around with that a lot, and what I did today was I took a frame from my stash, and it was bright red, like ugly frame. I can't use this. So I took my gesso that you get in your kit, and I painted this. It probably took like 4 or 5 coats for me to get, you know, all of the red covered up. So just go over it with your gesso like 4 or 5 times. And then after I did that, I'm going to take this over here and show you. It's not completely dried, but I took this glaze and I went over my entire frame with it, just pouring it on there. And then as it sits, you just let it dry naturally. You can see it's got a very like vague tint of green, but it's like a bronze, red tinted, just beautiful, beautiful color. Hopefully when it dries I can show y'all a little better. I'll actually insert a still shot here when it is dry so y'all can see what I'm talking about. And then we're going to do one more thing that needs to dry on its own. I took a piece of my Prima tea time paper, and ideally I wanted to use a photograph first to do an image transfer, but I did not have a photograph from a laser printer, so I couldn't do it. And then I wondered if my old dictionary paper, I know we all have old books lying around, different things. I wondered if I could transfer this image on top of my pattern paper and what that would look like. So that's exactly what we're going to do, y'all, okay? Okay, y'all, so all you need for this, again, is the gloss gel medium that comes in your kit. You're going to go on your pattern paper, and you're going to add a square of the gloss gel medium big enough to fit whatever image you were trying to transfer onto here. This is a great medium to do image transfers of any sort. It can be photographs, it can be papers, dictionary, anything you have. You can transfer it onto another surface by using this gloss gel medium. So put a pretty thick amount, not too thick, but a good nice coverage, and just spread it out evenly. And then set is going to be reversed, so you need to set whatever side you want showing. You need to put that face down, and it's going to be flipped. The image is going to be flipped, but it'll still come through. So just set your image down, try not to move it too much, and just go in and burnish it with your fingers and get all of that paper attached in that gloss gel medium. You want it perfectly adhered on there, so just make sure it's all nice and flat on there. Okay, and you're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next step. Okay, y'all, I've let this thoroughly dry. You can see the gloss gel around it, but everything's nice and stiff now, so it's completely dried. It took a couple hours. I just kind of got busy with other stuff, and just give it plenty of time. And then also the frame is completely dried now, and I'm going to point my camera or my lighting directly at this because I want you to see the intense shimmer that Primary Elements creates. It is just really amazing, and hopefully you're seeing, I mean, this is not green at all. It's totally the color that, you know, when you open up your bottle, completely that color right there that you see. So anyway, it's really fun. So just something unique. It's really saturated. It creates a really bold color. We're going to do a couple of other things before we get started on this. I took some gesso and put it in a bowl. And now I'm going to take some of the Luminart Silks acrylic glaze that comes in your kit as well. And I'm going to add a little bit in here because I'm going to use that as the color for my brick mask that I'm fixing to add to the canvas. Just put a little bit in there. It's really shimmery too, and it's a really pretty deep green color. So I'm just going to mix that all together, and then I'm going to take my brick mask that comes in the kit. I'm just going to put some random places of bricks on here. Let's see here. Let me grab my palette knife. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to have them up here and then a little bit over to here. So first thing I'm going to do is just get it on my knife. Turn it this way so I can work with it better. And scrape across. Okay, so just let that dry thoroughly. I'm going to set it over here to the side, kind of out of the way for now. And then I'm going to show you how to complete your little image transfer onto the pattern paper. And then we're also going to work with, remember how I showed you how to stamp into your gloss gel with your stamp. It's completely dried now, and you can see the, it's really shimmery and clear. It's almost like clear embossing powder. So that's completely dried on there, and you can get the effect there. And then I'll show you what happens when we spray on it. So just set that to the side. What you'll need for this step is a water bottle, or just any kind of, put some water in a bowl, anything. You just need to keep wetting this over and over and over. And this is time consuming. So I'm going to do a little bit with y'all, and then I'm going to finish it on my own. But I'll show you pretty much what to do. Just take your little image and just spray a little bit of water on there. And then go all the way around with your finger and just start wetting that paper thoroughly. And rubbing with your finger pretty hard. And you'll see that the paper starts to come up. So it's getting a little bit sludgy if it's old paper like this, I've noticed. So just keep rubbing until the water's almost dried. And then you're going to take a paper towel and just kind of wipe that off. And you're going to start all over again and do the same thing. Let me get a paper towel really quickly. Okay. So just rub that excess off of there. And you can already see how the image is starting to come through, and the pattern paper is starting to show through as well, like the leaves there and the little flowers. It's coming up over here. So you're just going to keep doing this. Don't get it too wet either. Just keep doing this over and over and over on top of your paper until the whole layer comes off and only your image is remaining, and it'll be on top of the pattern paper. So it probably takes about 6 or 7 goes with spraying the water and rubbing, and then once you get it down to where the image is showing through, don't rub too hard because you'll actually start peeling up the image. So just keep doing this. I'll show you one more time. Okay, so I've completely finished with my little piece of paper, and I've cut it down to size to fit into the frame that we've altered, and you can see the pattern paper coming through, and it's such an awesome effect, y'all. The dictionary paper is now pink, and the image is on there. Everything's reversed, as you can tell, and you can see all the little flowers and stuff coming through, so it's just really, really cool. Fun way to play around. So you can do this with your photographs as well. That gloss gel medium works great. Now I'm just going to go into a time lapse of me finishing this. The only thing you may have a question about is the paper I'm using. Again, it's a tea time paper scrap that I just scrunched up in my hands and heat set it while it was wrinkled up, and it creates this amazing texture. So I hope you guys enjoy the time lapse and enjoy the tutorial part, and thanks for watching. All those recessed areas, and it creates a really cool effect. I just kind of use my finger to make sure it's in there really well. And I'm pulling a lot of different colors out. I've got some browns and some pinks and some black, and then the green from the primary element. So it's going to be a really grungy effect, but I like to add the pink in there just to give it kind of a feminine touch as well. And you'll see me heat setting pretty much everything because I'm very impatient. And I've taken some alcohol ink and I'm just splattering it all over my canvas in random areas. The alcohol ink will overpower anything you put it on top of, so that nice white color will show through. I'm taking some more of the Glimmer Mist here and spraying it on my canvas. And I'm taking some gesso here and I'm kind of going in and whitewashing around my canvas to kind of tone down all of the colors we have going on. It was a little too much for me. And a lot of times when I'm doing a mixed media piece, I will do tons of layers and I'll end up covering up a lot of the work I've already done, but it still ends up really pretty. And you can see the edges of the canvas with the gloss gel medium and the sprays, how it turned out. And I've got that sheet of paper that I've crumbled up, and I'm just kind of playing with the placement and seeing where I want it to go and tearing off little pieces so I can have the brick showing through. And there I've taken my black Glimmer Mist and I've went in between all the brick lines to give it a more pronounced and grungy feel. And I'm going to use E6000 on my frame, and when I do that I also add a little bit of hot glue so that while the E6000 is drying, the hot glue keeps it in place so I can keep building on my canvas. And I'm taking another sheet from the Tea Time paper. It's one of the darker sheets, and I'm just kind of tearing little edges off, and I'm going to place these all the way around my canvas. I do this a lot. That's why I keep all of my scraps, because eventually I will use them in some way. And I'm going around the edges of that with some black soot distress stain, or distress ink, excuse me. And now I've taken another strip of paper that I had in my leftovers, and I'm using one of my Martha Stewart punches. And I'm just punching some different butterflies out. I'm going to have those going up the side of the canvas. And I've also pulled a piece of trim from my leftover stash as well. And I'm kind of adhering that to the bottom, kind of pleating it up with the hot glue as I go. And I keep it, you know, toward the bottom of the canvas, but also on top of the frame a little bit. And now I've got those flowers that come in your kit. They are so pretty, the Prima Tea Time flowers. And I've went over the top of this with gesso. And I'm just adhering those down to the bottom of my frame here. And now I've taken the stems that come on your flowers and I've clipped those off and curled those around a paintbrush and painted them white. And I just have those going off the sides of the flowers just to create a sprayed effect. And I'm just going to adhere all of those little butterflies down just using hot glue. And I usually use a paintbrush to press down the center of it so I know it's really adhered on there really well. Just placing those up the side of the canvas. Okay, and I've taken the alphas that come in the kit and I've created on the banner a little word that says create, and now also off to the side I'm going to have it say play as well, because that's kind of what this canvas was all about, just taking all your leftovers, all your elements, and just playing around. And nothing's got to be perfect, but it's just kind of a way of expressing yourself for me. So I hope you guys like the tutorial and the start to finish, and I hope I've encouraged you to play along. And if you have any questions at all, just let me know and I'll get back to you very soon. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.